Hey everyone, this is Ryan Mitchell from tinylife.com. Today we're going to be talking about finding local people that are interested in tiny houses. So this is a really, I think, important part in your journey is connecting with people locally. When I was building my house, I found a couple that was actually building the exact same house that I was at the exact same time. So it was so useful to, connect with them. It was a lot of fun. We were able to problem solve together, help each other find resources and sources for materials that we're looking at. How did you do this and approach this? And it was just so helpful. Just finding someone local is just so important. So we're going to talk about that today. So the first one and the easiest one is tinyhousemap.com. Basically, you go here, you click on these pins, and you can find local people in your area that are interested in tiny houses, and there's a way you can send a little message to them and hopefully they'll respond. The next one is city-data.com. The city data forums are basically discussion forums that you can connect with local people about pretty much anything. In this case, we'll be trying to find people that are interested in tiny houses, but there's also more here. You can find local resources, places where you can buy certain things if you're having a hard time finding something. There's just a lot of local knowledge on these forums. So when you first come here, read through the threads. Etiquette for web forums is first search. You don't want to do a post that's already been answered. So first search, see if there's information there. You'll probably find a wealth of information. And if there's nothing out there, then you can make a post. So that's just some little tip for you there. The next one is local environmental clubs. This is a Sierra club. It can be any club. But basically, people who are interested in tiny houses are often interested in, environmental issues and things like that. So it's likely that you're going to find other tiny house folks, or at least some people that are marginally interested, and they also might know people who are really into tiny houses. So it's just, expanding your social circle and connecting with people, through environmental clubs is a great way. The next one is Craigslist, and frankly, for me locally, I find this to have only mixed results. The discussion forums are here that you can look through. I don't typically find them that useful for my area. Sometimes I'll find tiny houses for sale in my area, so even though I'm not going to buy with them, I can at least reach out to them and connect with them and say, hey, I saw you're selling a tiny house. I'm interested in a tiny house, maybe not to buy yours, but I would just want to connect with other folks. Who do you know? And then you just go out and meet for coffee or something, and you can find folks that way. Sometimes you can find things in the community and then also searching for tiny house and related terms there. The next one is Meetup.com. Meetup.com is a great website where you can connect with local people on certain topics. And it could be any topic, but in the case of this video, we're looking for tiny houses. Don't just limit it to tiny houses. Think about environmental groups, alternative building groups, COB, whatever it is. You can find lots of tangential topics that you're probably going to find some tiny house folks in. So meetup.com is another great one. The next one is Twitter. Okay, we don't think about Twitter too much, but in a way, it's kind of like a social search engine. So what you're going to do is you first need to search something to get to this page, okay? And then you're going to click here. You're going to type in tiny house. And then down here, you're going to go and you're going to select your city or wherever you want to look for. So in this case, Charlotte. So I'm going to look for all the tweets that talk about tiny houses in Charlotte. And I think you can even set a mileage distance here. And then you click search. And so you can kind of see up here, they say tiny houses near Charlotte within 15 miles. So we could change this to 50 miles if we're not finding anyone. We could just expand our search. So within 50 miles, and we find all these people that talk about tiny houses, and we can connect with them. The next one is Facebook. Facebook is a search engine. It's just they specialize in people. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in people who live in the area that we live in case here it's Charlotte, North Carolina, and then you can put in almost anything here. Sometimes on certain topics, Facebook will require you to put in a Facebook page. Sometimes they'll just let you put in a search term like a tiny house. But what you can do is you put in, people who live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and like the tinylife.com. So since people who are interested in tiny houses tend to like tiny house fan pages, on Facebook, then we can assume that if they're liking a certain page, they're kind of interested in tiny houses. So once we do this, we hit enter and we get this list of people that we can connect with in our local community. The final one, and this one has limited legs, but search your local news. Type into Google local news tiny house, or whatever your local news station is, tiny house, and you might find a story on it to a person you can connect with. So when building your tiny house, it's really useful to connect with people socially and in person, because it's just a lot of fun. You keep up your motivation, you can share resources and solve problems together. This has been Ryan Mitchell from the tinylife.com about finding local tiny house folks. Hope you all enjoyed. Thanks.